created, oh yeah, to worship you. Can you say I was? Go ahead, Fred. To worship you. I was created to worship. For you are lovely, and your ways are wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. I am so fearfully, wonderfully made. You are the potter, and I am the clay. It could have been silver, it could have been gold, but you chose the dust to cover my soul. So now I lift up these and nothing, give you the glory and worship your name. My rejoices with the final created to worship you. So now we lift up all of these hands high. Glory and worship your name. Rejoices, created a sin to worship. Created to worship. Created to worship. Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing today? My brothers and sisters. This is me, Clifford Jefferson L. Bay. Just sitting down from the house of Godfrey, from the house of Plantagen, who were the kings of England. I'm pretty sure you brothers and sisters have been researching my prior videos to get an understanding of where I'm coming from. As the song said, this is what I was created for. All right? This is what I was created for. I don't know what nobody else was created for, but me, myself, I know what I was created for. And that's to speak the words of the Creator. And that's my subject matter here today. Who is the Creator? Because there's many forms of the identity of what people think or perceive to be the Creator. And it's very important for us to use our own conscious minds to interpret what the Creator is, because we are not ourselves physical beings. We are spiritual beings. Okay? We are spiritual deities. But here, the title is called Creator Deity, as defined in Wikipedia. And the definition of creator deity, as defined in Wikipedia, gives you a couple of interpretations of what is what is the meaning of what they mean by a creator deity. The first one is dealing from a monotheism point of view. It says the creator deity or creator God, often called the Creator, is a deity or God responsible for the creation of the world, for the creation of the earth, the world, and the universe, and human religion and mythology. Before I go on, let me first correct any words that I might have pronounced wrong or said wrong, or any day I might have said wrong or pronounced wrong. Well, you had it right before you, so I apologize, being that I have so much information stored in my data bank. I might forget to say the right word or the right number, but it'd be right before you on the screen as you read along, so you know it's a common mistake. So So let me go on. It says, in monotheism, the single God is often the creator. All right? It's often the creator. Give me 1 second. It's often the creator. A number of monolaterist, part self, forgive me if I pronounce it wrong, monolateristic traditions separate a secondary creator from a primary transcendent being, identified as the primary creator. All right? Here on your right side, you have different interpretations, part of a series on God. General conceptions, specific conceptions, with different types of names for it. But let's go down here. For the first one, monotheism. First one they have Atenism. This is going back to what they call the so-called Egyptian era, going back date 1330 BC era, which is before Common Era. Okay? And it goes into the history of Akhenaten and Queen Nefertiti. The so-called history of Akhenaten and Queen Nefertiti, during what they call the New Kingdom period in what they call ancient Egyptian history. All right? If you know about ancient Egyptian history, which those who claim out there, they claim to know about Egyptian history, where they know about Akhenaten and Queen Nefertiti and who they are. Okay? And this history goes or created was around 1330 BC Common Era. All right? They also have the Abrahamic religion that make reference to the first account through Genesis 1:1 through 2:3. Okay? About the creation of heaven and earth, waters, and so on and so forth. All right? All these particular monotheisms have to be supported by a calendar. And the only calendar to support their existence is the Gregorian calendar, initiated by Pope Gregory XIII in 1582. All right? So please pay attention to this demonstration. All right? Because if they're making reference to Akhenaten and Queen Nefertiti around 1330 BCE, which means before Common Era, then they're making reference to what we are or identify as the descendants of the so-called Egyptians, which is false. We're not Egyptians. All right? That's just a term they use. All right, but let's look up that particular year. All right? Because all your so-called Antinism and Abrahamic religions are based off the Gregorian calendar. All right? I'm not going to get into any other country's belief system. Islam also falls under the Abraham scope, a scope of Abraham's Abrahamic religion. Islam falls under that too as well. You can read on in your later research, but for the sake of time, I'm gonna move on. They all fall on what they call monotheism. All right. So we know that the Abraham religion is predated by the Egyptian history. Okay. All right, so-called Egyptian history. Let me correct myself. Which falls about 1330 BC Common Era, and we know that BC Common Era or Akhenaten or Queen Nefertiti is leaving out part of the history. All right, we're going to prove what part of history they left out. And these people, history they left out was not dealing with Egyptians; they were dealing with Berbers. Okay, so let's go back here. The year 1330. All right. Put on your thinking caps, my brothers and sisters. Now, remember I said the stories supporting anything dealing with Egyptians or the Bible and any other, the Greeks, the Romans, the Babylonians, all those histories only supported by the Gregorian calendar and the lunar calendar, dealing with the moon cycle. The Berber calendar is dealing with the sun cycle, okay? The solar calendar. All right? So here, as you can see here, you see the picture of the world, part of the puzzle is missing. All right? We're missing that. We're that part of that missing puzzle. I'm about to prove it. This is the year. Can y'all see that? Let me blow it up a little bit. It says the year 1330 was a common year starting on Monday of the Julian calendar. Did it say the Gregorian calendar? No, it did not. It said the Julian calendar. Julian calendar make reference to Julius Caesar in 708 and 708. All right, but we know that was false. Julius Caesar never existed because the only calendar used was the Berber calendar. Because, and according to the Julian calendar, the New Year was celebrated January the 14th, the same as the Berber calendar. So we know that the Julian history is false, but they still use the Berber calendar that was existed in that prior time. Okay. All right. It says, if we go here, now they have various other calendars. You see that? It says 1330 in various calendars, meaning other calendars. All right? So they have the Julian calendar, which they said was based off the Akhenaten and Nefertiti, 1330. And they gave you, said it was in lieu of the Julian calendar, which is also the Berber calendar, which goes back to the New Year being January the 14th. All right? But under the Gregorian calendar, the New Year is considered January the 1st, a 13-day difference. All right? Here you see the Gregorian calendar, the year 1330. But the Gregorian calendar was not initiated to the year 1582 by Pope Gregory the 13th. Please do your research, brothers and sisters. Please pull up Wikipedia and do the knowledge. All right? How can 1330 exist under the Gregorian calendar when it wasn't initiated till 1582 by Pope Gregory the 13th? All right? Here you have the Berber calendar, the year 2280. Right now, the year 2019 is actually the Berber year, the 2969. Look it up. Look up the 20 year, the under Gregorian year 2019 is actually the Berber year 2969. We're going backwards. All right, we're going backwards. The Berber calendar, 2280. But yet they have an English regal year, which is the year of a king, Edward III. How can that be? How can an English king be ruling in the year 1330 when the Berber year is 2280, but according to the Gregorian year, Edward III is the year 1330? Watch. You think I'm lying? Check this out. Here you see, Kings of Kings as Edward the Confessor, Kings and Queens of England, National Portrait Gallery, History of the Kings and Queens of England. Here is William the Conqueror, the one who invaded England. All right, the author is David Williamson. I got this book at a thrift shop. All right, something just told me to pick this book up, and all of a sudden, this is what I discovered. Now on page 7, because here you have, one second, let me just show you. Here you have the breakdown of all the houses. Give me 1 second. Let me find it first. You see that? Okay, here we go. Contents. Introduction, BC and AD. You hear that? Initiation BC to AD 871. 871 goes into King Alfred the Great, okay? But they don't give you a date in BC because they switched from 1 BC in the year 951 AD. 951 AD. Look up the year 1 BC, and you'll see that in the Berber year, it's actually the year 951. This is at the time when King Edgar the Peaceful was about to come in the ring. He was born in 943. The Anglo-Saxon Danes, the Normans, the Angevins, the Plantagenets, House of Lancaster, the House of York, the Tudors, the Stuarts, the House of Hanover. This is when you get into the British monarch system and on now. Now you notice it stopped with the House of Windsor. Who's under the House of Windsor? Queen Elizabeth II. Okay? Now check this out. This was the Berber King. King Edgar the Peaceful. That's an Asiatic brother. He looks just like me. If you see me with my locks, he looks just like me. With a gold throne on, with a scepter, with a cross in a bowl, represents salvation of the cross. Okay? That's the first king of England. All right? Now, my name is Godfrey from the House of Plantagenet, ruled by Godfrey V of the Count of Anjou. All right? We're just talking about 1330. Under the Berber calendar, King Edward III was ruling. Okay, here you go. The House of Plantagenet. You see that? That's my family's house. Henry III, Edward I, Edward II, Edward III. You see the year? 1327 to 1377. All right? Wife Philippine of Hainaut. All right? There's your proof right there. Edward III. The same year. So all that story was created in the Middle Ages. All right? I hope you brothers and sisters are doing your research. All right? So there you go. Now let's go back to the creator. Since we know that all that monotheism from Akhenaten and Nefertiti, as well as dealing with the Adam Eve stories was created to throw you off. It was actually created to protect you. You know what I'm saying? To one who was born to come in with the explaining of this information, which is such as me, myself. All right? Let's prove to you about who we are as a people. All right? We just went to monotheism. Let's deal with what they call let's find it. Let's go back here. Let me find it. The Great Spirit. Let me see if they got it here. Let me gotta type it in. Okay, let's go here. Now check this out. We're talking about the creator deity, and we just outruled or disqualified monotheism, dealing with the stories dealing from the 1330, dealing with Akhenaten and Nefertiti, because these go into the history of the Hittites. Okay, goes to the story of the so-called Hittites. All right, so now we're dealing with the great spirits, which is another term for the creator. All right. Let's look at this, the great spirits. The great spirits known as Waka Tanka among the Sioux, Gitche Manitou, and Eloquin in many Native Americans and First Nations cultures as a supreme being, God, a conception of universal spiritual force. Okay, all these are part of the Lenape tribe. All right, according to the Lakota, the active activist Russell means a more semantically accurate translation of Wakan Tanaka is the great mystery. Okay? Due to perceived similarities between the Great Spirit and the Christian concept of God, colonial European missionaries frequently used such existence belief as a means, one second. Colonial Europeans frequently used such existence belief as a means of introducing indigenous Americans to Christianity and encouraging conversion. You hear that? Let's go to conceptualization. The Great Spirit has at times been conceptualized as an anthropomorphic, let me say it again, anthropomorphic celestial deity, a god of creation and history and eternity, who also takes a personal interest in world affairs and mighty regularly intervene in lives of human beings. Numerous individuals are held to have been speakers for the Great Spirit. Persons believed to serve as an earthly mediator responsible for facilitating communication between human and the spirit. Did you hear that? Or supernatural more generally. Such a speaker is generally considered to have an obligation to preserve the spiritual tradition of their respective lineage. All right? The Great Spirit is by way of spiritual leaders is looked to for guidance by individuals as well as communities at large. While belief in an entity or entities known as the Great Spirit exists across numerous indigenous American people, individual tribes often demonstrate varying degrees of cultural divergence, which in turn correlates with several distinct beliefs regarding humankind relationship with the spirit. Okay? As such, a variety of stories, parables, fables, and messages exhibits different, sometimes contradictory themes and plot elements that have been attributed to the same figure by otherwise disparate cultures. There you go. They're hiding the culture. All right, but this is where the term folklore comes from. And you know, you used to refer to our people as them folks. When we refer to people down south, we call them our folks. All right, but they're making reference to indigenous Native American tribes. Okay, now let's look up this term, Wakantoka. All right, and let's see what we come up with. Y'all ready for this? Are y'all ready for this? All right. Y'all seen the Black Panther movie, right? Because now they're making reference to this tribe called Wakan Tanka, which were all part of the Eloquini, however you pronounce that, which are actually part of the Lenape tribes, which is just all down what they call the Eastern Seaboard, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, on down to Florida, as I showed you yesterday in my closing about the English territories. All right. We talked about the Esapaki, which were Native American tribes who were come from Ulster, which is a town over in Ireland. All right, and Ireland is, according to across the seas, Ireland is right next door to England, which is now under jurisdiction of what they call United Kingdom, but separate from the European subcontinent. All right, Wakantanka and Lakota, and remember what they said is a reference to a mediator intervening to their people from a spiritual yes, from the spiritual ancestors. Now, I just all of a sudden within the past 2 years developed having seizures. I just started having seizures out of nowhere. I didn't know how the hell I started having it, but they can't explain why I'm having these seizures. So I myself took it as being a divine spiritual awakening because I had one was seizures happen when I was in the car crash. And I came out, the car was total and nothing happened to me. Not one scratch. I'm on disability right now on behalf of those seizures because they cannot explain what's going on. I know what's going on. The ancestors are speaking through me as a vehicle, as a living vessel. All right. My grandfather. Let me close this out. Let me show you. That's my grandmother. She was from Mississippi, and that's my grandfather, Leotis Jefferson. You can see he's Native American. All right. So this is not a joke to me, brothers and sisters. This is not a joke to me. All right, let me go back. Wakantoka. Now, once again, we're talking about the movie Wakanda. Notice why they created this movie Wakanda. And the subject matter pertaining to the movie Wakanda. And how the world depended on Wakanda. The world depended on the chief, who was king. All right? So I'm going to show you how important that is to this day and time because we're actually living in what we call Wakanda. All right? Because they're making reference to Wakantanka here in dealing with the Native American tribes in America, which is made up of the United States, which consisted of tribes prior to the so-called invaders, the French, the Spaniards, the Dutch, and every other European invader. Because the English were the ones who were enslaved by the so-called Dutch, Spaniards, and so on and so forth. The French. So we look at the word, it says in Lakota, spiritually, Wukan Tanak Tanka is a term for the sacred or the divine. This is usually translated as the Great Spirit. Okay? Interpretation can be interpreted as the power of the sacredness that resides in everything, resembling some animistic and pantheistic belief. Now, pantheistic, the source of the word theistic has the parts of the word, it's panth. All right? So now, when I read it, I'm like, well, that might have some, I don't know for sure. That might have something to do with the Black Panther, but I wasn't sure. So I kept searching, kept reading on. It says the term describes every creature and object as holy or having aspects that are wakan. The element tanka or danka corresponds to the great or large. All right. Before Congress tried forcing them to convert to Christianity, the Lakota used Wakantanka to refer to the organization or group sacred entities whose ways were mysterious, thus the great mystery. Okay? And we about to blow y'all mind. All right? It says, activist Russell Means also promoted the translation Great Mystery in the view that Latoka spiritually is not monotheistic. Did you hear that? It is not monotheistic, meaning that they didn't believe in no visible church. They didn't believe in no visible deity. They only believe in the Great Spirit. That all things are encompassed in. That it simply shares. Great and large. All right? This is religion practiced by the Berbers. How do we know that? How do we know that? Because if you look at when Wakanda became king, Chief, forgot his name, they was on a cliff. My name is Cliff. Ford means crossing, cross over. Jefferson's son is the prefix. Jeffrey means son, lords on the earth, lords of the earth, if you said it backwards. Godfrey. That's what the movie King Kong was about. Kong and King are two Anglo-Saxon terms. The guy named who was playing in the Planet of the Ape was named Caesar. Okay? The orangutan, the orange one name was Maurice. Come on, man. Y'all got to see this with your third eye. It says, Sion Wakantaka or Wakan is also known as Wakanda in the Omaha Ponke. It says the name is known as Wakanda. All right? So they making reference to the Native Americans here in America as being part of the so-called Wakanda tribes, which include all the so-called tribes, Alaquinian, Lenape, all those tribes in Mississippi. All those tribes are tribes of Berber. Why? Because if you look at the movie Wakanda, Black Panther, they was dressed like Berbers. All the tribes. They were dressed like Berbers with those ornaments hanging from their head with turbans. That's the head dress and the customary dress wear of Berbers, which the so-called Arabs borrowed to this day. They borrowed that. Okay, let's go back. Let's look this up, just so we can make uniformity with the two. I ain't making this up, brothers and sisters. The Black Panther. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Wakanda. It's a fictional country located in sub-Saharan Africa, created in Marvel Comics. It is the home of superhero Black Panther Wakanda's first appearance in Fantastic Four. Now we know that at one time all the continents was one what is it called, subcontinent. It's called Pangea, and Middlesex County was the center of it. Okay, it was the center. It was the center of it. It was hidden, as in the movie. It was hidden. Let's go back and see the movie Wakanda. Let's see. Here we go. Black Panther film. There we go. You see that? My family crest has an X in it. It has a panther in it as well. My family crest has an X in it with a panther in the middle. Okay? I'm not making this up. There you go. The movie Black Panther. Wakanda. Alright, so you connect the two. Because I just did. Alright? So now they got talking about the Black Panther. Now where did they get the term Black Panther from? Because wasn't there a Black Panther Party here in the United States for the liberation of the so-called people identified as black? Right? It was the Black Panther Party. We all know that history, right? So do we know that there was a history called the British Black Panther Party? Did you know that? Let's see. This is where it all comes from, brothers and sisters. This is all where it comes from. There you go, that fist. Black power. Alright? That's where it all comes from. British Black Panther, British Black Panther, or the British Black Panther movement was a black power organized in the United Kingdom. Okay? Now, United Kingdom is under the authority of Queen Elizabeth II, right? Under the authority of the British United Kingdom and the British monarch system, which is under the authority of Rome, prior to it being under the authority of the Kingdom of England. Okay? All right, so it says that organization in the United Kingdom that fought for the rights of Afro-Asiatic people, which were Berbers, but they say here black people. Of course, they identify as black now or people of color because they are subject to what they call slavery under the United Kingdom or British monarch system, which is under authority of Rome. Let's go a little further. So I'm able to go through this like a fine, like with a rake. Let's go ahead. Let's see, where's that? I was trying to find something. All right, here we go. Impact. Now, we said that New Jersey, prior to its incorporation, was called Jersey. It was called Jersey, under authority of the House of Plantagenet, right? John II, John I, who signed the Henry II, was the one who signed the Magna Carta. He was under authority of the Kingdom of England, but he was from the House of Angevin, which is part of the House of Plantagenet, which is under authority of King Godfrey V, the Count of Anjou. Magna Carta was signed in 1215 for the rights of Englishmen, if you know your history. And it says the impact based off the British Black Panther Party, which is a movement for so-called people identified as black or colored people, with the action and educational efforts by the BPP helps to expose racism in schools and in the government. The trial of the Mangrove Nine brought legitimacy to the fight against racism in the UK police force. Robin Boontz, a biographer of Howe, said he basically turned it into a trial of the police. His defense appealed to the Magna Carta, and the media loved it because it was rooted in English tradition of fair play, but was also enormously radical and subversively funny. You hear that? But they depended on the Magna Carta to support their rights. And won. And won. It says here. It says, the remaining people who became known as the Mangrove Nine, part of the British Black Panther Party or organization, chose to either defend themselves or have a radical barrister, Ian McDonald, represent them. They also requested a black jury citing the Magna Carta as precedent. All members of the Mangrove were later found not guilty by the jury. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? See, they was governed, but they were being tried according to the laws of Parliament, according to their rights as Englishmen in a Roman system. So, brothers and sisters, I am the source, I am the root, I am the path to claim your vast estate, which all your leaders claim to have brought the procedure and process for you, but yet have fallen back to sleep. So this is out of love, this is out of peace, and this is out of justice. Please, I warn you, please, honor your ancestors, come back into the fold, so that you may be counted amongst the registry of the great record of heaven. And with that I say, peace.